I read a lot of criticism towards Vi and her behavior once Jinx left her locked up in the cell, telling her she doesn't need to worry about her anymore and she's gonna break the cycle. Mentioned criticism was most of all aimed at the fact Vi had sex with Caitlyn instead of rushing out after Jinx. And I wanted to briefly list why I think this scene was very much needed and very much justified. To me, it made a lot of sense. First of all, what Jinx said most of all had its context within her Silco vision when he told her only walking away can break the cycle of killing, which on its own can be read in two ways, meaning either ending her life or putting oneself aside. Which potentially she did by the end of the season, assuming she actually survived. Second of all, Vi did nothing but suffer for most of the seasons. She suffered when Vander was taken away instead of her, when Vander died, when the outcome to her anger towards Powder was splitting them apart. She suffered through her Stillwater stay, which lasted at least a couple of years, not knowing if Powder is alive, if she is fine. Then, when she realized Powder is now Jinx, she suffered because of her guilt, knowing very well she had a hand in creating Jinx, even if she never intended to. Jinx's action to Vi felt like her own actions. When Jinx killed Caitlyn's mother, it was again Vi's burden to carry. She felt responsible for Jinx until a moment came when Jinx let her go of that responsibility. And it's more than understandable that Vi finally accepted being released of it. Because third of all, in season 2, after realizing she failed both Jinx and Caitlyn, after having lost both of them, she ended up in a very dark place. And then it was seeing Vander again that lifted her up. But losing both him and Isha was yet another layer to Jinx's tragedy. Vi did not let go of her. She fought for her, knowing she failed her in the past. She fought for her despite going against Caitlyn. Jinx always stood between Caitlyn and Vi, and it was my theory all along that they won't properly get together unless Jinx gives them her blessing. Which she did. She also partially reconciliated with Caitlyn. It is the only way she knew how to. Jinx was no longer Vi's responsibility. Vi did so much over the years, lost everyone. She was ready to die for Jinx, and it was in the very cell when Jinx let her go. Going back all the way to season 1, it's such a smart reference. Back then, Vi was locked up and unable to protect Powder because of Marcus. Now, she's been locked up because Jinx herself refused her help. She closed the doors behind them and left. She was the one who made the decision not to accept Vi's help any longer, for her sake. Now, the final and strongest argument defending this scene. Vi, all the way through her relationship with Caitlyn, felt like Caitlyn was standing in opposition to Jinx, even when Vi herself was again ready to be her sister. That lack of support led to creating a barrier between them. A wall that only collapsed once Caitlyn fully trusted Vi's decision to handle Jinx on her own, by allowing her to break her out. Years of loneliness, lack of support, losing everyone which Vi assumed included Caitlyn because, as she said herself, she went behind her back, led to another low moment in Vi's life. Moment when Caitlyn showed up to lift her up, and this time without any strings attached, without hatred towards Jinx, which she let go of, and without the burden of Jinx's hatred towards them both. All these reasons made that scene what it was, a celebration of their relationship, which in many ways always relied on physical touch as their own language of love, an ultimate seal between them. They got together at the very spot where they first met, where Caitlyn crossed the line towards Vi, a line that is now fully gone. In my opinion, Vi very much deserved that happiness, and she let go of the anger that was holding her back, the hatred that was bringing her down, the responsibility. It feels like, for once, she decided to bet on herself.